Well, hello there. I thought I'd talk about the way Philippine immigration is going on right now. As you know, about March 2020, they stopped accepting tourists coming to the Philippines. And it's been like that ever since. Now, you can get in if you have a 9A visa or a 13A visa. And I believe the 9A visa is kind of focused on somebody that has a child in the Philippines. And the 13A is if you have a spouse in the Philippines. And also there's the SRRB, which is a special retirement visa. And if you have one of those, there's some other visas. There's like a diplomat visa or a quota visa, but those are the three main ones. But as far as tourists, you're not going to be able to get in. Now, there's already like existing foreigners in the Philippines that were under a tourist status, and they pay approximately around 400 US, equivalent of 400 US dollars every year to be able to stay in the Philippines. However, after 36 months, people with the tourist status are going to need to leave the Philippines and come back. Well, can they come back? No, not on a tourist status. So they have 36 months to stay, and they're paying about 400 US dollars every year for fees. Now, since this has been going on for like over a year, with tourists not allowed to enter. Some of the guys with tourist status are starting to come close to their 36 months, and some of them have. Okay, now what can they do? Okay, they can leave, but they're probably not going to be able to come back. Unless something changes. The other option is they can go, as far as I know, you correct me if I'm wrong on this. They can go to immigration, and immigration will say, we can give you a 2-month extension past your 36 months. However, it's going to cost you 25,000 pesos. Now, that's about equivalent 500 US dollars. And they get to stay another 2 months. It's a little expensive. That comes out to about $250 a month. Well, what if they say, well, okay, I'm going to pay it and I'll stay 2 months. Now, and hopefully, the immigration will change their procedures. So they pay the 25,000, and they've gone past their 36 months, and that would be 38 months. Now what? Well, you have to pay another 25,000 pesos for another 2 months. Well, now it's kind of getting a little expensive now. And then maybe some people on tourist status will say, well, all right, okay, I'll just get an SRRB. Well, as far as I know, once you've gone past your 36 months, you cannot apply for an SRRB. You have to be within your 36-month window. Well, how long does it take to get a SRRB? Well, it's going to take about 5 months, because it has to go back and forth between immigration, and you got to get all this, documents, and it's going to go back and forth between the PRA, the Retirement Authority, and immigration. Your documents have to go, plus you have to gather everything. So once you've gone past, as far as I know, once you've gone past your 36 months, then you have, I guess, 3 options. You can leave, go back to the Philippines, go back to your home country, and then wait and see if tourist status is if they're gonna accept tourists again. Or you can pay your 25,000 pesos every 2 months, or, not a very good option if you want to be, you just don't want to pay and you're like an illegal alien. That's not really advisable. So it's really two options. You can start paying your fee. Now, let's say you still got a year left and you think, well, looks like I need to get that SRRV. So you start gathering your papers together. Now, you probably, there's a lot of videos about getting the SRRV, but the main thing is you have to be over 50 years old, and you need to put in a deposit. And if you are if you're a veteran that has honorable discharge, and in the United States that would be DD 214. But okay, now what countries do they accept? Well, the way it's worded, as far as I know, it says any country that supports the Philippines. Now, I'm not sure exactly the meaning of that, but chances are, if you were discharged honorably from a country like a Western country, like Australia, Canada, United States, UK, France, something like that, then you would fall into that category of an honorably discharged veteran. Okay, now, what if you're in the Iraq Army or Air Force? They might not accept that honorable discharge if you were an Iraqi, in the Iraq Air Force or something, and you got honorably discharged. Maybe not, but you have to check with them on that. It's probably a Western country. And if you got honorably discharged, then your deposit is $1,500. Now, if you weren't in the military, or you weren't honorably discharged, and you still want a SRRV, then the deposit is $10,000. Now, what about if you're in the United States and you want to come and you don't have a child in the Philippines, and you don't have a Filipino spouse, and you don't have an SRRV? Well, as far as I know, you can start the process, but you have to go through the consulate in your country, the Philippine consulate or Philippine embassy, and start the process. And then when you get enough along in the process to where the only things you need to do can only be done in the Philippines, then I think they'll give you a 9A visa, so you can come to the Philippines. Well, anyway, that's the latest as far as I know, as far as what's going on now. And it's been a while, it's been since March of 2020 when the tourists were not allowed. And a lot of people ask, well, when are tourists going to be allowed? Well, don't really know. It might be, a few more years, I don't know. But those are the options. And if you're already in the Philippines with a tourist status, then you can stay, but you're going to have to pay that 25,000 pesos every 2 months. Anyway, that's the latest with immigration in the Philippines. and thanks for watching.